Okay, so I just picked up a used Taurus 2014. Got the key fob in my pocket. And I'm cleaning her out. And I thought I'd show you the trunk. Putting the air in the spare. It's supposed to have 60 pounds in it, so we're a little over. Okay. There's a button down here. Opens the trunk if the key fob's in your pocket. So there's what the trunk looks like. I've seen a lot of videos on the trunk, right? But no one ever shows you the spare. So it's a pretty big spare. It's not full size, but it's big. It's not no dinky little thing. Okay, mine, I bought it used. Only had 20 pounds in it, so make sure you check yours. So let's see here. This is here 60 psi. Maximum vehicle speed 50 miles per hour. Okay. So something else I wanted to show you was these things here. These rubber plugs. It was all rusty around there. There's one there and one down here. I drove an old Taurus, 86, 25 years. And same thing happened with that. I think both the plugs were down here. And you know, I cleaned it, checked it all the time, right? One time I opened the trunk, there's like 3 inches of water in here. So what I ended up doing was I just took these rubber plugs out and I bonded over it, and never had a problem again. Okay, but here I cleaned these up. They were all rusty. Cleaned them out, washed the plugs, put Vaseline on the plugs. I painted this with that rust reformer paint. Rust reformer paint is supposed to instantly converts rust to a protective paintable surface. Okay, supposed to stop the rust. So here's the jack that came with it. The thing here is the tire iron. That's how you get the lug nuts out. I would say these days just have roadside service on your insurance, car insurance, or buy AAA. AAA is like $100 for 18 months now. So then it's a small jack. This is the last resort. This lug nut thing fits on here, and it also fits your tires, your tire lug nuts. This slide thing here, there's a spot on the bottom of the car where that fits. So you don't have to jack it up high, just high enough to get the tire off. I know I bumped into a problem. I had a flat tire on a Lincoln, and I couldn't get the floor jack under it because the car was so low. I don't remember how I got it up, but it was pretty low. I might have used one of these first. And I got one of those jacks on wheels. Couldn't get under there. So that's why I say just buy AAA. These days it's a tank of gas. So just don't want to go back in there. Great. This just wraps around here. Okay, and then this bolts down to the bottom. Let's see here. Sometimes these things will rattle in the bottom of your trunk. So lots of times what I used to do, I'd put an old rubber mat in the bottom. And then they wouldn't rattle. So let's see how this goes back in there. Let's see. There's two long slots here. Okay, so this thing goes over top here, and then this goes down here. And then this screws on top of here. Okay. Should have paid more attention when I took it out. Let's see here. No wonder why they rattle. I never put it in right. Let's see here. There's only one slot here. Two up here. Okay, so that end, I think, goes toward the driver's side. We'll find out. Go get a rubber mat. Should go get a rubber mat and just put it in there now. Let's see here. See that? That slot's not showing up here. That's what makes me think I got it in backwards. It makes sense. You wouldn't want that hitting the bottom. It might mess up the nuts. Now the hole is okay. So this part goes in the hole, and then this must line up with this here. Okay, let's see if I'm right. Okay, so the nut goes toward the driver's side, and then this slides under the little edge here on the side. And let's see here. There's a slot on top of here that fits in, and then this thing goes on here like this. Get your head out of the way. Tighten it down good so it don't rattle. Okay. See how that goes in there like that. Slides up here. And goes across that ridge. A little ridge there. That's where you put on this one on top of the tire. And then comes down here. That goes on there. Okay. Okay, and then they give you this piece of cloth to go on the bottom. That's so the tire don't rattle. I know what I used to do when I was a kid. I would put I'd put an old rubber mat down in there, and then that would stop the tire from rattling. Okay, so now we'll get the spare back in here. Not too heavy, but not light either. I'd say maybe 30 pounds. So that just goes on there like that. Put the air nozzle toward the front so it's easy to check. I used to have a car that the spare went in upside down. You know, so the air nozzle was inaccessible from the top. So I just didn't use their system and put the tire in the car right side up so I could check the air when I needed to. I didn't have to take the tire out just to check the air. At least check it at least once a year, hopefully twice, like fall and spring. Usually do an oil change fall and spring. Check the spare, you know, at a minimum once a year. Usually if there's no leaks, they don't lose the air. I figure this is a 2014 Taurus that's probably never been checked. So we're talking 8 years. Probably never been checked. So okay, and then this goes on top of here. That holds the tire down. Line up the hole. Don't over tighten, you don't want to break it. Okay. So then they give you this piece of cardboard to put on top of it. Kind of a fancy cloth on the top. Suppose you could vacuum it, but this is like a foam and just like a paper board here. Probably could be a little stronger than just that paper board. And it doesn't anchor, it just sits on top. I know years ago I had an older car, I don't remember which one it was, but that board was kind of weak and it had sagged over the years, and I made my own board out of regular 1/4-inch plywood, and that worked real good. Painted it, just got a rug at the hardware store that match, you know, like a heavy-duty industrial rug type stuff, you know, and it worked good. Okay, so there's the trunk for the Taurus. It's supposed to be the biggest trunk in the business. It is pretty big, but with this thing here, this makes it kind of awkward. You're going to lose a lot of space here, but I guess you just got to work around it. In case you didn't catch that, if the key fob's in your pocket, there's a button down here. There's a button down here. There's a button down here you press. Okay. And the first time I tried it, the key fob was in the hallway, about 10 feet away, and it wouldn't work. You should probably check these. I just had a friend, her daughter climbed in the trunk and got locked in and couldn't get out, so we're thinking this didn't work, you know. So on here I could just pull down those seats. These seats drop down. See, it's just this little piece, it's just that little piece of cloth here. You pull on that, it activates that little thing, and it hooks on there. So now you have access to the trunk. Both sides come down. I guess so, if you want to bring some 2x4s home from the hardware store or something, you can drop your seats down. Okay, but that's how you could test that. Climb, you know, open that up and then get in the trunk and try it. Make sure it works. You won't get locked in because you got your seat open. Okay, then something else you could do is, like, in the space down in here, stick some gloves, nice gloves that you would want to use to change a tire, and maybe a couple rugs and a rain poncho and pliers and things like that. Stuff that you would need to help change a tire. Maybe some flares or battery operated flashers. There's a lot of empty space here that you can store stuff in. Okay, then right here I just noticed, here's your funnel. This is the funnel you use in case you run out of fuel. Like, you can't stick any old gas can into your tank. I had heard that you have to buy these at the dealer for 20 bucks, but the car comes with one. See, then you could pour fuel in there, you know, if you happen to run out. Okay, so that's nice to know that the car comes with that. And you can buy spares too. Probably pretty expensive. Probably get them at the auto parts store. Okay, so we're inside the trunk. Here's the funnel. This little thing here goes on this slot here, and then this thing here, there's a little round thing under here that it would go on. So it slides in here like this. Okay, so that's where it's at. It's on the left side of the trunk. Here's the spare tire, and it's right here. Okay, so standing outside the trunk, you come like this. That funnel's right there. That'll be below the cover. See here, here's the cover. See, that's below the cover here. I guess that's another reason why you should read the manual, right? Okay, see ya. Bye.